What's good, boxing fans? Today we're breaking down one of the most underrated rematches which will take place on Friday, January 16th. Alexis Rocha vs Raul Curiel. The first fight was an absolute war. A chess match that turned into a street fight. A bout that had momentum swings, brutal exchanges, and a controversial draw that left everybody wanting a sequel. Now we get that sequel. This isn't just a rematch, this is round 13. In this video, I'm going to break down what happened in the first fight, the strengths and weaknesses of both fighters, and finally, my prediction on who wins and why. So if you love real boxing analysis, not just predictions, sit back, lock in, and let's break this fight down. Alexis Rocha strengths. Alexis Rocha's most defining weapon is his pressure. He is not a single-shot counterpuncher or a cautious outside boxer. Rocha fights to dominate territory. He walks opponents down behind a high guard, cutting the ring and forcing exchanges. Once inside, he throws in volume, 3, 4, 5-punch combinations that force opponents to react defensively. This constant pressure wears on opponents physically and mentally. Left-hand power. His left hand is not just a single weapon, it is a system. He throws gauchetière, straight lefts down the middle, left hooks in exchanges, shovel hooks to the body, left uppercuts in close quarters. This variety makes him unpredictable and dangerous in the pocket. Opponents cannot simply guard one lane. Body attack and physical wear. Rocha is a committed body puncher. He does not treat body shots as optional or decorative. He invests in them early and often. This bodywork slows opponents, drops their guard, and opens headshots later in the fight. It is one of the reasons Rocha often gets stronger as fights go on. He is systematically breaking opponents down. Combination, punching and finishing instinct. Rocha is not a one-punch hunter. He hurts opponents with combinations and finishes them with volume. When he senses weakness, he does not hesitate. He steps on the gas and forces the referee to intervene. His stoppage of Blair Cobbs is a perfect example. Once he hurt Cobbs, he swarmed him with relentless combinations until the fight was stopped. This shows Rocha is dangerous late in fights when opponents are tired. Durability and mental toughness. Rocha is physically tough and mentally unbreakable. He has been knocked down, hurt and bloodied, but he never quits. Even in defeat, he continues fighting. Against Giovanni Santillán, Rocha was dropped multiple times but kept getting up and trying to fight back. He never looked for a way out. He forced Santillán to earn every second of that victory. Ability to box. Although Rocha is known for wars, he is actually a capable boxer when he chooses to be. He has a good jab for a southpaw and solid footwork when he stays patient. In recent fights, Rocha has shown the ability to outbox opponents early, controlling distance and landing cleaner shots. Conditioning. His conditioning is also good. He can fight at a high pace for 12 rounds. His stamina allows him to maintain pressure when opponents are fading. Weaknesses. Defensive vulnerability in the pocket. Rocha's biggest flaw is his defense during exchanges. He has limited head movement. While his guard blocks many shots, it also allows opponents to land around the gloves, especially with hooks and uppercuts. He does not slip enough. He does not pivot enough. He does not exit exchanges quickly enough. As a result, he absorbs unnecessary punishment. In high-level fights, this becomes dangerous. Against Giovanni Santillán, this flaw was brutally exposed. Santillán consistently beat Rocha to the punch, landed clean combinations, and punished him repeatedly inside. Tactical stubbornness. He is a proud fighter. When opponents challenge him physically, he often accepts the challenge instead of changing the strategy. He wants to prove he is tougher. This can turn winning fights into close fights, and close fights into losses. Susceptibility to heavy pressure fighters. Rocha is a pressure fighter, but not all pressure fighters are built the same. When Rocha faces opponents who are physically stronger, hit harder, and are just as aggressive, he can be overwhelmed. Santillán is the clearest example. Santillán was stronger and more explosive. Rocha could not win the physical exchanges. His pressure style was turned against him. Limited, one-punch knockout power. Rocha hurts fighters through combinations, not single shots. Predictable pressure rhythm. At times, Rocha's forward rhythm can become predictable. He often advances in straight lines and can be timed by sharp counterpunches. Fighters with good timing and footwork can exploit his forward momentum with check hooks and straight counters. Raul Curiel. Curiel's defining weapon is his body punching. Unlike many fighters who throw token hooks to the ribs, Curiel invests in the body with full intent. His hooks and shovel punches downstairs are thrown with balance, leverage, and bad intentions. Legitimate knockout power. Curiel is not a volume-based pressure fighter. He does not overwhelm opponents with sheer output. Instead, he breaks them with power. His punches carry weight. When he lands clean, opponents react. Even fighters who survive his early rounds often show visible wear by the midpoint of the fight. His knockouts are not flukes, they are the result of structural damage. Importantly, Curiel's power holds up over distance. He is dangerous in rounds 1 through 12. Finisher's instinct. Curiel knows when a man is hurt. When he senses vulnerability, his demeanor changes. His foot pressure increases. His combinations lengthen. He begins punching in rhythm rather than single shots. He does not hesitate. He does not admire his work. He closes. 4. Physical strength and inside fighting. Curiel is extremely strong for a welterweight. This makes him difficult for pure boxers who rely on space and rhythm. Once Curiel gets inside, he is hard to dislodge. Conditioning and work rate. For a power puncher, Curiel is well conditioned. He maintains pressure deep into fights. His pace may fluctuate, but his threat never disappears. He does not rely on single moments. He builds damage round by round. Weaknesses: footwork and ring. Cutting Curiel's biggest technical weakness is his footwork. He applies pressure, but he does not always cut off the ring efficiently. He tends to follow opponents instead of stepping laterally to trap them. Against mobile fighters, this results in wasted energy and lost rounds. Vulnerability to movement and jab-heavy fighters. Curiel's style is built for confrontation. When opponents refuse to engage, he becomes less effective. Boxers with strong jabs, lateral movement, discipline can win rounds simply by controlling geography. Curiel is most dangerous when his opponent stands their ground. When forced to lead, he sometimes becomes predictable. Defensive gaps. During entries, Curiel is hittable. When he steps into range, his head often remains on the center line. He sometimes squares his stance when throwing hooks, leaving him open to counters. Because he commits to power, he can be timed by sharp punches. Susceptibility to counter-punching. Because Curiel commits to forward pressure, counter-punchers have windows. Sharp right hands and check hooks can catch him as he steps in. While his durability has protected him so far, the higher he climbs, the greater this risk becomes. How the first fight between Alexis Rocha versus Raul Curiel went early rounds. The fight started exactly how Rocha wanted. He established his jab and footwork early, keeping Curiel turning and picking him off with straight lefts. Curiel pressed forward but followed rather than cutting off the ring, repeatedly being forced to reset. Rocha's timing and hand speed were clear advantages. He countered Curiel's wide shots and slid out of range, comfortably banking rounds. Rocha controlled distance. Curiel struggled to trap him. Rocha won exchanges with speed. At this stage, it looked like a classic boxer versus pressure fighter matchup, and the boxer was winning. Second half. The fight turns into a war. In the second half, Curiel raised the pace and dragged Rocha into a slugfest. Rocha chose to stand his ground more, and the fight turned brutal. Curiel landed heavier shots and had moments where he looked close to breaking Rocha. But Rocha fired back with fast flurries and sharp counters. Momentum swung constantly, with neither man willing to give an inch. It became one of the most entertaining welterweight fights of the year. At the decision, after 12 action-packed rounds, the judges returned a majority draw. Rocha won the early rounds, Curiel controlled much of the middle and late stages, and neither did enough to clearly separate. A fair result in a razor-close fight. How I see the fight going. I see this rematch playing out in a similar way to the first fight, with Rocha starting on the outside, picking his shots as Curiel looks to close the distance. Rocha clearly has the faster feet, but I expect Curiel to be far more aggressive this time around, fighting more on the inside and taking more risks, which I think will work in his favour. Rocha has a clear weakness to the uppercut and tends to struggle defensively when the fight gets close. I definitely see another back-and-forth war with both fighters willing to exchange. But for me, Curiel is the bigger man and carries the heavier hands. With him pushing the pace as the aggressor, I can see him edging the rematch. The switch to Robert Garcia is another big factor. Garcia was in Santillan's corner when he dismantled Rocha, so they know exactly how to approach him. On top of that, the first fight was a massive step up for Curiel, and he'll have learned a lot from that experience. Meanwhile, Rocha has been inactive due to injury, which could also play a role. All things considered, I'm leaning towards Curiel to win a close but entertaining fight by decision. So that's my full breakdown of Alexis Rocha versus Raul Curiel II. Now I want to hear from you. Who do you think wins the rematch? Drop your prediction in the comments. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more real boxing content. I'll catch you in the next one.